Welcome back to the channel. Okay, so in this video it's going to be about CMA training. Okay, so I'm your host, Billy Jack, franchise owner and designated supervisor here at Exit Realty Central in El Paso, Texas. Okay, so whenever you're going to get a listing or you have a potential, somebody that's inquiring about selling their house or something, and first thing you want to do is before you start your CMA, okay, is you go to CAD, okay, to the Central Appraisal District, and you go into the property search. Okay, so property search, you select the previous year. Okay, because if you select the current year, sometimes it's not going to populate sometimes. Okay, so I will just put in an address here just to give you an example on how you review it and verify the stuff. Sometimes it can take a little while to populate. Just let it run. Okay, so the main important things to look at, okay, especially with your customers when you're talking to them, is you verify the owners. Okay, you got to make sure. So this one has Omar, Juana, and Daisy. Okay, so there's three. There's three people on this property. Okay, so and then so you see that. Okay, and then you check over here. Okay, and you see the living area. This is going to give you your square footage. Okay, so we always go what's listed in CAD. Okay, unless they have some other modern document that proves otherwise. Maybe they have a very recent appraisal or something like that, and then it shows something different. If that's different, then you need to maybe talk to us, and then we can go from there. Okay, but otherwise, we always go by what's on the government record. Okay, this is their taxable living area. Okay, you don't pay attention to the value here. This is the assessed value. Okay, assessed value is usually less than market value. Also, take a look at all this that's here. Okay, because some of them I just had a very recent one of my own listings. The square footage was wrong, and the reason why is because they had everything totaled up to the living area, including the porch and everything, and it just wasn't correct. Okay, but for the most part, we always go just by this. Okay, all right. So now that you got the basic stuff here, you are ready to set your listing appointment. Okay, so all these forms, I'm gonna email them to you. Okay, so after you receive a call and you set the listing presentation appointment, okay, we already went over that. Check on CAD for the property information. Okay, so before you leave to the appointment, make sure you have a pen and notebook. I know this is a little, redundant here, a little obvious, but do make sure you have a pen, notebook, or if you're good with the iPad or maybe a little laptop or something. But usually when you're walking around, at least a little notebook or so. Also take pictures of the property as you're going in. You can tell the sellers, you mind let me take a few photos so I can have an accurate representation of your house. Okay? Even if it was recently sold and it's still in MLS, you always want to have updated pictures because a lot of things can change. Color of the paint of the walls, remodeling, anything like that. It can be a lot different than what it is now. Even in a couple months, they can change a lot and just decide they want to sell it. Okay, so upon arrival, always take a picture of the front of the house. And just like you see on MLS pictures, always try to take a picture of the front of the house because you're going to upload that to your CMA. Okay, once you make contact and your introductions to the owners, ask them to give you a tour of the home and point out any repairs or upgrades. Okay, and take some pictures as you go along, or you can even video it too if you want to video it on your phone. Okay, so you can refer back to it when you get back to your house or the office. Okay, so when sellers start telling you, okay, about hey, we have a new roof, when they're pointing out all the upgrades and repairs, they're probably going to tell you, hey, well, I just put a new roof, or I updated the landscaping, I put very nice blinds, things like that, shutters, anything. Don't tell them, okay, because as you'll learn, these don't really add any value. Okay, but don't tell them that. Don't say, well, that's great, but that doesn't add any value, to your house. Okay, they're not gonna like that. Okay, so instead, say like, oh, that's incredible. That's definitely gonna help this home sell. Okay, so landscaping, they put new landscaping, grass, whatever it is. Hey, it looks beautiful. It's really gonna give this house some extra appeal, and it's gonna help it sell. Okay, take very good notes. Okay, take notes, or if you're recording it or whatever you're doing, okay, pay attention to kids' names, dogs' names, things like that. Because remember, we are in the people business, and that's very impressive to the sellers when you remember simple things like this, especially dogs' names or their children's names. Okay, that's very important to them, and that shows them that you're really paying attention, that they matter to you. Okay, so that'll win you over. Because remember, you're probably not going to be the only agent that they interview. Okay? Once the tour is over, then you go back to the office or your house and you complete your CMA. Okay? Don't go to a home with a pre-prepared CMA. Okay, I know it's easy to do. Some people, you want to jump the gun and let's get this printed out and I'm going to take it with them. I'm going to have everything ready. For the simple reason is when you get to the house, you might see on the previous MLS pictures from 5 years ago or maybe just a year ago or so. I mean, being a home inspector myself, I've gone into new houses that are only a year or 2 years old and they're trashed. Okay, I mean, people, it's demolition derby in there sometimes. Okay, so don't go in there with a pre-prepared CMA. Okay, because that can make, if you get there and the house is nothing like what you thought it would be or what it showed in previous pictures, you're going to look a little incompetent. Okay, especially if you have to change it, and that's a real bad thing. Okay, so after that, set your next appointment for either the next day, or when they're available. Okay, so preferably really quick. Okay, with all the owners of record. Okay, so for example, on the CAD here that we had, okay, it's important to have them with all the owners of record, because sometimes you're gonna get either just the wife, or if they say, well, you know what, my husband can't make it today, but you can just talk to me and then I'll tell them, that's not very good. You might be wasting your time with that. Okay, because there's sometimes that the wife wants to sell it, but the husband has no idea, or the other way around, or if it's two brother and sister in the house or something, and that can cause problems. Okay, and it can ultimately lead to a waste of time. So always try to get them to set the appointment all together. Okay, really try to get it that way. Okay, so this is going to be another document that I'm going to send you. Okay, and these are for the adjustments. Okay, and all the information for it. Okay, so for when you get to your when you go into MLS and you do your CMA stuff, okay, it's probably gonna be a little bit different unless you've played around with it already and you've set it up. Okay, so this is how I like to put it. Okay, with all these suggested fields. Okay, so you're gonna have it. It's gonna look something like this. Okay, so you're gonna have the bedrooms, bathrooms, all the standard stuff. I also add the fireplace. Okay, sold price per square feet. Okay, this is an important one. Okay, to put it in there so we can adjust that. I'll explain that to you all here in a little while. Okay, so and then I have them all adjusted this way. This is how I put them in. Okay. Okay, so like I was saying, when you go and you're taking your notes in the house, just as you have this set up, you can even screenshot this or print it out and have it with you, and that's how you can take all the notes too. Okay, so you don't forget anything, especially if it's not previously listed recently on MLS. Okay, because remember, what about if they added more to the bathrooms, or an extra bedroom or whatever, or extra garages, especially. Okay, so you want to have all that accurate. This one wasn't on MLS. Okay, so I had to. It hasn't been sold in quite some time. Okay, so I had to put all the stuff in there, but I am very familiar with this house. Okay, this is actually one of our properties. Okay, so I'm doing this as an example. Okay, so then you'll have to enter all this. This part, the sold price per square foot, we can leave that blank. Okay, if it was previously on MLS, when it's sold, it'll calculate it and it'll put that in there. But I'll explain this a little later. Okay, this is a pretty important one. Okay. Okay, so when you start up your CMA, of course, you're gonna go. I added it up here to the top. Okay, so you're gonna do your CMA, And then the cover sheet. Okay, this one I have it pretty standard. I have it copy and paste. Okay, and then I just change it. Okay, so see seller's name. Thank you for the opportunity. Blah blah blah. The comparable sales price in the market. Good comparables. This and that. Physical characteristics. All that kind of stuff. And then I just change it here depending on what we come out with. Okay, and then I put a little signature thing right there. Okay, and then you can title it here. You put it, and then seller's name there. All that kind of stuff. Okay. And here's the subject property. We'll put all the stuff in there. Okay. And then we'll go to looking for the comps. Okay. So I already have a few comps in there. Okay. So I already did this previously. Okay. So when you're picking your comps, okay, I already have a few here added. Okay. So when you're going to pick your comps, don't be so restrictive. Okay. If you're very restrictive, you're going to narrow it down, and you're probably going to miss some good comps that are very comparable to your subject property. Okay, so I'll explain that here in a little bit. Also, another very important thing is you cannot, if your subject property is a single level site built home, you cannot use 2-story site built homes. Okay, and the other way around, if your subject property is a 2-story site built home, you cannot use single story homes. Same goes with mobile homes. If it's a double wide mobile home, you cannot use single wides. Okay, and going back to the 2-story, 1-story ones, the reason why is a single level site built home is the cost is a lot different for construction and everything that's in that house. Hey, a 2-story house, if it's a 3,000 square foot 2-story house and a 3,000 square foot single level home, the 2-story home is going to be a lot less to construct. Okay, because you're only gonna it all comes on the footprint of the house. Okay, so the single level is going to have a much larger footprint, probably double the size. Okay, so that's foundation, how they run the plumbing, all that stuff. And then the roof also adds a lot more. Okay, it's double the roofing. Okay, so you cannot do that. And then they're completely different. The market reacts a lot differently between single level and 2-level homes. Same way, the way they react to mobile homes, double wide and single wides. Okay? Hey, and when you're picking your comparables, okay, stay within a certain range of the square footage. Okay, so it's usually 200 to 300 square feet range up and down. Okay, so if it's 2,000 square feet, on the low end, you'd go maybe 1,700 square feet, and on the high end, 2,300, maybe 2,400. Okay, if you can't find any pretty good within a very tight range like that, you might have to go 300-400 square feet higher or lower, but you really don't want to go much higher than that. Okay, because then your comparables might not make any sense. Right? Okay, so when you're picking your comps, like I said, don't be so restrictive. All you got to do is just go by the square footage, 6 months back. Maybe, you might have to go a little bit longer, but don't be so restricted by putting just 3 bedrooms or just 2.5 bathrooms or things like that. Okay, those small little items, it's going to get very restrictive and it's going to really limit it. Okay, so you want to just do the square footage, 300 up and down, within the last 6 months, and then you just list them up and then you can view them. Okay, because some 3-4 bedroom houses or 2-3 bath houses, they're going to be very comparable to your subject property. Okay, so I'm going to show you when you're picking your comps. Okay, this is the way I like to do it. Okay, so you have a couple of options here. Okay, you can either do mapping at the quarter mile. I like to use this one. Okay, so when you're doing if you do the mapping, you never want to go over a mile. That's usually the rule. Okay, for a mile. Now, I know you're not appraisers, but you should think like one. Okay, and this is usually the rule that they do. Now, sometimes you might have to go further than a mile. It depends where your house is at, and how many sales have happened then. Okay, so when you start it up, okay, I use this one. Okay, it's froze here. Okay, Here we go. Okay, got it. Okay, so when you go there and you get and you select your find comps, okay, it's gonna open a new page here, and then on the statuses, okay, so you see, these are all the active, all this pending and everything. Okay, so we always go with the closed, right? Always go with the closed, and usually I do 6 months back. Okay, and you can do 180 days, it's already here, but if you want to just type 6, you just click it and then it'll go back to months. Okay, you can do years, days, or months. Okay, just by clicking it just like that. Okay, and then it's going to show you the map. Okay, so you can put here view map real quick, but I put that and then I go down to here, approximate square feet. Okay, and so on the subject property, it was like 1900 square feet. So we're gonna go, let's do 1600 and 2300. Okay, let's see what comes up. Okay, so now I know this is still quite a bit here, so you got to know where your property's at. Okay, my property is going to be right in here somewhere. So the subject property is this Frankfurt Leeds. It's going to be right in here. Okay, so I kind of go out a little bit, and you kind of have to gauge it a little bit how much, how big a mile is, but usually, a mile is like pretty much going to be this page here. Now, you also have to know your neighborhoods a little bit. Okay, so something in this area here, there's a lot of $1 million houses. Okay, so, and over here, there's a lot of, older, very old, maybe 100-year-olds. Here, one of my listings, it's right here, actually. I mean, it's over 100 years old. Okay, so just because it's pretty close, you can't use that. Okay, so you do have to kind of study the neighborhood, and it's pretty easy. You can just click on them, and then you'll see what the house looks like, and you can even just click this number, and it'll bring it up. Okay, so anyway, so we're here, and the way I like to do it is I use this little polygon thing. Okay, so since the subject is here, I'm gonna put it right here, okay? And I'm gonna go out this way. I'm just gonna wrap these in, and then you just double click it, and then it's gonna bring them up, okay? So now it's gonna show them, okay? And then from there, go to list, okay? List, and then you can see them, okay? You can see the houses that come up. Okay, so that's why I'm saying you gotta take pictures, take some video of your house, of your subject property, so you can see them, because you're gonna first you compare, you can compare here. Okay, 2 baths, mine's a 1.75 bath, but bedrooms, you don't pay too much attention so much to the bedrooms. Okay, so if you have 3 and 4 bedrooms, okay, you notice the square footage is pretty much almost identical, right? Even though it has an extra bedroom. Okay, and the baths or even the bathrooms, even the bathrooms just slightly different here. Okay, even the lot size is it's very similar, but the reason why is the bedrooms, we don't really make adjustments for between 3 and 4 or even 3 and 5, for the simple reason is that's going to be the adjustment is going to come in the square foot difference. Okay, so if you have, one bedroom is typically maybe 150 square feet, and I'll show you here in a little while how we adjust for the total square foot sold. Okay, so now if it's between a 2 and a 3 bedroom, or especially 2 and 4 bedroom, okay, the market acts very differently to between 2 to 3 bedrooms. Okay, the market, they don't like them. Okay, people, they don't like the 2 bedrooms. Okay, and another thing is also on the search parameters, when people are looking them up online on realtor.com or Zillow or the Trillia, it usually defaults always to 3 bedrooms. So the 2 bedrooms are they're kind of left out. Okay, so that's why. Okay, so if it's between 2 to 3 bedrooms, then you can make an adjustment, because just the market, they don't like them. Okay, so when you have your comps up like this, okay, so you are gonna have to look at them, okay, and see if they're really comparable to yours. Okay, because chances of you being in all these, it's slim to none. Okay, so you're probably not gonna have been in a lot of these houses. Okay, so you do need to click on them and kind of look. Okay, does it look fairly similar? Okay, so my subject property is a brick home, so this is brick. Okay, and I look at the pictures, and hopefully they have good pictures. Well, not really. Okay, but you can still see. Okay, mine has hardwood floors. It's constructed kind of like that. Okay, so you just kind of go through them and see what kind of condition it's in. And that's a major thing. Okay, you kind of look at the conditions. Very few pictures on that one, so it's pretty bad. Okay, so and I always look and then see. Okay, and then if you find one that's this one's also pretty comparable. Okay, so but the idea is you don't see one like, for example, this one here. This is not really going to be, see, not comparable. See, look, I mean, the wall's destroyed. Okay, so this one needs some work, and it's 158, compared to all these others. Okay, well, yeah, definitely not comparable. Okay, so that's the point. Okay, so if you just see, and hey, you know what, all the stats read good. Hey, 5 bedrooms. Or the square footage is almost, it's identical to mine. It's only 4 feet off. But as you see, it's not. Okay, this needs a lot of work, so that's not fair. You can't use that one. Okay, so that's the point. Okay, you do need to take a little bit of time, do your due diligence. Look through them, look through the pictures, and then make sure that they are comparable to yours. Okay, so let's say that you can't find any comparable comps in this area. Okay, so you will have to go to, you'll have to widen your search a little bit. Okay, and you'll have to maybe look. Let me get off of this. So you would have to maybe look in a different area that's a comparable neighborhood. Okay, so if, for example, like in this area here, you might have to look, maybe a little bit more down, like down here. Some of these areas might have some. Okay, if you're up here, maybe in the northeast area, you can maybe find some comparable ones in other areas. Okay, same thing with the west side. But the thing is too is to remember that you can have the same exact house or a very similar type of house that's maybe, let's say, up here and in this area, and this is very close to the mountain. Okay, and it's a pretty high-end area. Okay, you have a lot of $500,000 homes, things like that up here, and you can maybe have the same type of house that's over here somewhere, or down here, or in this area too. You might have similar ones. They're almost the same year builds. Okay, but they won't be the same because of the geographical location. Okay, because this is going to be right up high on the mountain. The views are fantastic up there. The lots might be a little bit bigger because they extend up. Okay, so even though it's not very usable, it still wouldn't be a very accurate comp. Okay, so if it's one, always put them similar. If it's in the middle of a bunch of houses and it's not, a corner lot or a lot all by itself. Okay, so just try to keep that in mind. And you can also use, if you're just going by the map here and you're trying to look for maybe a little bit wider neighborhood or a similar neighborhood, it looks the same, you can also use a satellite view. Okay, you can use a satellite view here, and then you can really get up close, and then you can see pretty much how the neighborhood is. Okay, so some of them they're gonna have a lot bigger lots, or the way their driveways are. Or things like that. Okay, so that's another little tool that can kind of help you out in comparing the area. And if you have trouble finding comps, okay, you can call me or Maria or something, and we can help you. Okay, we can help you look, and maybe if we need to go outside the normal radius, we can help you. Okay, now there is one thing. Okay, when you go into the house, do please make sure you take pictures, or take a lot of photos of it so we can see. You cannot, we're not with you, so we need some reference on how to comp them. Okay, how to compare them. Okay, now this is another thing that's also very important. Okay, I know it gets exciting sometimes. You get a call and you want to do that CMA real quick and everything, but if you come for help or something and you haven't gone into the house and you want to do a CMA, it can't help you. Okay, we just can't do it. Okay, we need to see how the house looks like inside. Like that, you can compare them to the other houses. Okay, so that's very important. Okay, and once you have your comps, okay, once you have them, listed in there and detail, and you select which ones you want. Okay, you just select here and return listings to CMA. Okay, you just click there and it'll populate them here. Okay, so here are your comps right here. Okay, and then we go to the next step. Okay, and here's all the fields. Remember that I was talking about? I have mine set up, and you have all the fields right here. And see, and then we have everything there. So see, when you click on Fireplaces, you'll see all the stuff that's in there. Okay, year build. Now, year build, we don't pay too much attention to it, because you can have a house that's 10 years older or 10 years newer, and the sellers took very good care of it, or the homeowners took very good care of it, and it looks just like the other ones, or it looks 10 years newer, or or vice versa. Okay, I mean, you get the point. Okay, so you don't have to pay too much attention to this. I mean, of course, you don't compare a brand new one to 100 years old or anything like that. Okay, so when you get to this page, okay, then you're gonna get this other one that I will send you. Okay, this page that's right here. Okay, and now we're gonna have the adjustments right here. Okay, so one thing to remember is CPA and CBS. Okay, CPA, comparable poor, you add. Okay, you adjust to the comps. Okay, you don't adjust nothing on your subject. You don't put nothing on the subject. See, it's even blacked out right there. Okay, so on here, these are the factors right here. Okay, and CBS comparable better, you subtract. Okay, if it's better than yours, it has more bathrooms, more bedrooms, then you subtract on it. Okay, and then here are the adjustments. Okay, so on these, the bathrooms, okay, average to good. If the house is just an average house, pretty good house, it's 3,000. Okay, good to excellent, very upscale house, very nice, very well kept. We can go all the way up to 6,000. Okay, now one thing to remember for the bathrooms is it's 4 fixtures. Okay, 4 fixtures to the bathroom. So you have the tub, sink, shower, and toilet. Okay, so if it's only 3/4, then you divide it, and then you get your just for the 3/4 of it. If it's only half, just a toilet and a sink, then it's half of it. It'd be 1,500, or 6,000. You can kind of use your better judgment on it. If you think maybe it would fall around here, you can give a 4,000 or so. It's not too much of a big deal to get a little bit off. Okay, and coming up here to the lot, I'm going to be jumping around here because this is going to take a little while. Okay, so the lot location, we don't really do much adjustments. Okay, lot size and location, because it is based on several factors. Okay, for example, you can have a large lot, but it's not usable. Okay, if it's up there on the mountain, or it's out in the county somewhere, and a lot of it's just desert and very hilly, and a lot of holes, and you really can't do anything with it. It's not really going to be much benefit. Okay, if it's a different factor, if it's a big lot and you can put different structures on it or something like that, this is something that we would have to talk about. Okay, if you want to make adjustments for that. So you don't have to worry too much about the lot. Okay, so going down to the bedrooms here. Okay, so as I said before, on the bedrooms, we don't really adjust much between 2 or between 3 and 4 bedrooms. Okay, so we usually adjust when it's two bedrooms, 2 to 3, because the market reacts very differently to the 2 bedrooms, as I said earlier. Okay, so I won't spend too much time on that. Okay, garage capacity. Okay, it's 4,000 per 1 car storage. Okay, so if you have a 3-car storage garage, then you you put 12,000, okay, for 3 storage, okay, and then it's from the average to good, very high end homes, because on the high end homes, the reason why it's higher, even though it's the same size, is the garage. It'll be a lot more finished. It has it looks like it's part of the house. Has very good lighting in there. The floor has that acrylic coating on it, and the walls are all finished and everything. Okay, so you'll have to just use your best judgment on that one. Okay, carport, same. It'd be the same for both. About $1,000. Okay, I don't really give too much for the carports. Okay, just it's plain and simple there. Okay? So fireplace, it's 1,000 per unit. Very high end, 2,000. And by high end, I mean it's those that have those very pretty mantles all over the place. The chimney part on the top is very well decorated. It's just very elaborate. So that's when you'll give the 2,000. Those regular insert fireplaces or just a standard common one, just 1,000. And this is for both the interior and the exterior ones. Okay, sometimes you'll have some houses that they have a fireplace built into the back patio. Okay, and it doesn't mean those portable ones. Okay, it's those that are actually built in. Right? Evaporative coolers or central air. Okay, this is 6,000 per unit. Okay, this is usually how we judge it. Okay, 6,000 per unit. Okay, now some people might say, well, I like my evaporative cooler. It works very well. It works just the same, but it doesn't matter. The market does it. Okay, the market reacts very differently to evaporative cooler versus central air, especially now that they're a lot more efficient than they used to be. Okay, and condition and quality. Okay, this is for the total square foot, the sales. Okay, so I'll end up coming back to this one. Okay, so this is gonna have to be something that we'll have to talk about more. Okay, more in depth. So I'll come back to that one. Okay, so pools is, it all depends on the style. Okay, this is a big range here. Okay, so if you have a very pretty pool that's, and it has to be in ground. Okay, not those standalone ones that they just build and they're above ground. Okay, it does have to be the in ground permanent ones. Okay, so if you have a nice in ground pool that has a waterfall and a jetted tub or a jacuzzi already in there, the hot tub. I mean, and it has this very pretty rocks or good cool decking all the way around it. Nice kidney shaped pool. Those are usually $40,000-$50,000 just to put them in. Okay, so we give them the high end. Okay, 20,000. Okay, if it's just a regular square, small, just standard in ground square pool, nothing really special, then you go down to 7,500. Okay. Okay, and the casitas. Okay, these are guest houses or those casitas that they build in the back or they're attached. This has a lot of leeway in it. Okay, it has a lot of different amenities, so we would have to go on a case-by-case basis on this. Okay, because some of them, they are attached to the house or kind of part of it, so you don't really, you just factor it in. And some of them that they're actually full structures in the back and they're like their own independent little house. So this is going to have to be something that we would have to, until you get very familiar, we can talk about that and see how it is. Okay. Solar systems. Okay, solar systems, you do have to ask, is it leased or is it owned? Okay, if they own it, they get a lot more. The lease, well, it's not really theirs completely yet. Okay, so the solar system, you have to ask how many kilowatts is it? Okay, how old is it? If they're just like all electronics, they tend to age. Okay, so a $20,000 one will be high kilowatt system, 6 kilowatt, 5.5 kilowatts, 6. That's a pretty high kilowatt system. Okay, so those are usually like 30,000 or so to put in, depending who puts them in. Okay, so then we can go up to find the kilowatts on it. If they don't have it on MLS on the documents up here, when you're doing your search and you see the documents that are up here, if they don't have that solar system documents in there, check in the comments. Okay, in the comments of MLS, and sometimes they'll put it in there if the agent did their research on it, the listing agent. If not, if it's your subject property, it'd be pretty easy. You just go out there where the solar system is, and there is where the shutoffs are and the electrical panels all on the outside, you'll see all these fancy looking boxes. There'll be a little tube out there, and it just looks like a piece of pipe, like a big plastic piece of pipe. It's probably about a foot long or so, and you can just unscrew one of the caps and it'll have the information in it, and it'll usually be on the right upper corner or on the right bottom corner, and it'll say the amount of kilowatts, and it even has a diagram of all the panels. That's required by the electric company, that they have them out there. So there's every house that I've inspected, they've always had them. So that's an easy way. On your comps, well, it can be a little different. They should have the documents, or at least in there in the MLS in the comments. Okay, and large metal buildings. Okay, these are these big buildings that you see outside, and they're usually found more in rural areas, where they have a big lot. Okay, so if you have something like this, you can come and talk to me, and we can probably we'll figure it out. Okay, but the way it is, it's how many cars can they fit in there. Okay, so here you have the formula here. Okay, and that's how it can be a very large 50 by 50 building or so, but you'll kind of have to use your best judgment on how many cars they can fit in it, because the seller is probably going to say, well, I paid $40,000 for this building, and he probably did. Okay, but cost and the market, they don't equal each other. Okay, so if the seller does tell you that, you could say, what, I understand, Mr. Seller, but cost and the market don't equal each other, but we'll see what we can do to give you additional value. Okay, and before moving on, I'll go into real quick on this. Okay, so the 280 square feet here, when you're gonna ask, well, why divide it by 280? This is a standard size of a one car garage. Okay, so that's how you can calculate on how many cars will fit in it. Okay, so you take the total amount of the square footage of the building, then you divide it by 280, and that's how many cars you have, and then you multiply it by this, depending on the quality of the building. Okay, if it has a very nice concrete floor and it's very well constructed and it just looks very high quality, then you base it on your range here. Okay, so now we'll go into putting the adjustments in. Let me close this one out here. Now I'll send you that template too, if you want to copy and paste and just change it up. Okay, so now that we have this stuff here, we're ready to put in the comparables. Okay, or the adjustments. So the number of bedrooms here, you can see they're all about the same. And this one's 3 to 4, so not too much there. If you want to look, you can come over here and look at the this is freezing up again. Okay, all right, there we go. Sometimes it takes a little bit, the MLS. So, but you see the size, the 3-bedroom one's actually bigger than the 4-bedroom one. Okay, so as I was explaining earlier, it's all factored in there, so we don't really make too much. That's really too close together. Okay, so we'll go up to the total baths. Okay, so as you can see, all the comparables, they're better than mine here. Okay, they have more bathroom, a quarter more, or even 1 1/4 more. Okay, and I already put in the adjustments. Okay, so remember, it's 4 fixtures per bathroom, so you take the amount that you're gonna adjust by. See the bathrooms here, 3,000 for average to good. It's standard house or very upscale, very nice, very nicely remodeled house, or whatever it is. You can kind of you'll have to use your judgment on it. Okay, so typically this is for high-end houses, very nice bathrooms, just a standard house, like that. Okay, so you take the total number here and divide it by 4 if you're doing, half bath, 3/4. Okay, so it's going to be comparable is better, you subtract. Okay, CBS. Okay, comparable better, subtract. Okay, so and then here we go. You put the little minus sign, and then your total from what you divided. Okay, and then there you go, and then you have that there. All right. Okay, so now we're gonna do the adjustments for the square footage. Okay, so you're gonna go here to the sold price per square foot. You notice the subject doesn't have it because, if it's sold a long time ago, it's going to be a lot different than what they are here recently. Okay. So what you're going to do is you see your sheet here. Okay, it gives you the instructions here. Okay. So first you take the average of the comparable sold price per square foot. Okay. So you're going to get your calculator out here and we're going to add them up. Okay. So it's going to be, and you don't pay attention to the penny part there. Okay, so it's going to be 138 plus 98 plus 111. Okay, so that's 347. 347, and then you divide it by 3 because we have 3 comparables, right? So you divide it by 3, and that gives you an average of 115. Okay. Okay, so now you have your total for the average here, okay, for all of these. So now the next step here is, after you get that, then you multiply the average price per square foot by 40%, okay? And you're going to say, well, why do you multiply that by the 40%? Because this here has everything in it, okay? It's all the way from the paint to the insulation to everything. And 40% of this is the actual contributing square footage. Okay, so here you're gonna do times and then 0.40. Okay, so now you have 46. Okay, 46 per square foot. Okay, so now that we have the 46 here, okay, we're gonna go and you're gonna look at the actual square footage. Okay, so now we're going to take the difference here. Okay, so it says on your paper here, this is the dollar amount adjusted that you'll multiply the difference of square footage for the comparables. Okay, so on your subject here, you have, where's the calculator here? All right, so you have 1904, which is mine, 1904, and then minus, let's do the first one, 1623. Okay, that's 281. Okay, so now the 281, you times that by the 46. Okay, and that gives you a $12,000 difference. Okay, or 13, almost 13. Okay, so here it's going to be comparable is poorer. Okay, comparable is poorer, so it's CPA. Okay, remember CPA, CBS. So you add comparable poorer 12,926. Okay, so it's going to be 12,926. Okay, so then you add it and then you do the rest. You do that for all the rest of them here. Okay, so that's how you can adjust for a square footage that's quite a bit lower, even though it has the same bedrooms. But let's see what the bathrooms were. See, it has just a little bit more bathroom, but that's, just for a quite a bit smaller house. So that's how you adjust that for that. Okay. All right. Okay. And one last thing, don't forget to times the 40%. Okay. Because a lot of agents, they'll do, let's see, where were we here? They'll just do the average of this and then times it by, the difference of this. And that's going to give you a lot bigger number. Remember, it's only 40%. Okay? Only 40% of it. Okay? And then that'll give you a more accurate, more tight number on that. Okay? All right. Okay, so if your comparables here are within 50 feet or so of your subject, you don't really need to do this, okay? Because it's just so minor that you don't really need to do this just for a little bit here, okay? So we'll go ahead and do the next one. So 1986, difference between 1904. We'll do it the other way. It is 1986 minus 1904. Okay, so that's 82, and then we times that. Hit the times there. Times, and then it's gonna be 46, right? So it's 3772. Okay, that's the 40% of the others. So this one is comparable is better, right? CBA, okay, comparable, no, CBS, okay, CBS, right? Comparable better, you subtract, okay? So it's going to be, what was the number there? It's 3772, okay, 3772, all right? Oh, wait a minute, 3772, okay? So that's a little subtract there. Yeah, okay. All right. And then you do the same thing with this one here. Okay, so we'll go ahead and just do it. Okay, so it's going to be 19. What is it? 1978 minus 1904. Okay, 74 and times the 46. 3404. Okay, comparable better. CBS. Okay, comparable better. You subtract. Okay, and it is 3404. All right, 3404. And there you go. Okay, now you have it all in there. All right. Okay, so now that we have that in there, now we'll keep going down to the other stuff. Okay, the approximate acres, you see it's pretty close together, so we don't really worry too much about that. You know, it's if you get a lot bigger, 5-10 acres, you know, or something like that, then we'll have to do it on a case by case basis, see what's the use of the land. Okay, your build, you don't pay too much attention, especially if you're in the same neighborhood. Okay, I mean, you can have a 10-year difference, but the sellers or the owners take very good care of the house, and it looks just like the 10-year newer one. Okay, so you don't have to get too hung up on that. Obviously, the sold date, it's, you know, we went back 6 months on this, so that should all match up there. Okay, so here we go with the garages. Okay, so the subject has 2-car garage. Okay, the one on Waco, and now on some of these you'll have to look at them. See, so it says none, yes. Okay, well, what is that? Okay, so this one has even a workshop area and stuff, but you have to pay attention to it because, you know, you don't know what that agent put, and then you can just click on them. You know, you see that was just a hyperlink there. Let me close that window. So you can just click on the name here, and then it will pop up. Okay, which one was the one that we did? Okay, the Waco. So it's this one. So see, you know, it says here, and then you'll just go and look in there. Okay, double detached workshop area. So you got to kind of read it and see what it says. Okay, you know, let's see. All right. So now, if you don't see it really there, kind of go through the pictures and see if you can. Oh, okay. So see, there it is. It's a detached there in the back there. See if she has any better. No, that's it. That's kind of, don't do this, guys. Okay, you know, if you're gonna get a listing, you know, if you don't have a photographer, I mean, I'll do the pictures for you. Okay, you can talk to the other agents. I do all the pictures for you. You know, nice professional pictures, and have at least 20 or so in there. Okay, so anyways, besides the point. Okay, so this one is a detached double garage. Okay, so. And then we go here, and what do we say with, you go back to your thing. Okay, so 4,000 per car. Okay, that's probably an average to good house. Okay, so garage capacity, double detached, workshop area. I'm pretty sure the workshop area is just gonna be, you know, just a little room that's back there. So okay, that's kind of hard to. Carpeted car pad. Okay, the car pad. Okay, so 4,000. So it's gonna be the same. Okay, so this is gonna be the same, and then so we're not really gonna do much adjustment on that. Okay, because this one, my subject also has it. Okay, so now this one, it says no and yes. So we'll have a look at it and then see. I'm gonna close that one too right now. Okay, so this one says it does have it, but it doesn't have it. So you gotta kind of look and see if it shows anything. It doesn't say anything. So let's see the pictures here. What's that back there? My cat in the background. Okay, so it's freezing up again. Okay, there we go. Let's see. I don't see no garage at all in there. Okay, so you gotta just kind of keep going, keep looking through it. I don't see any garage in there. Okay. In fact, I don't even see what. Oh, okay. So looks like is that the bark in there? No, I think that's the neighbor's house there. See how it's pretty difficult to tell if you don't actually go and see the house. I mean, I know the comparables. You don't really go so much, but for your own home, okay, for your own listing there. Okay, so what do they have on here? Okay, so it's just none. Okay, so I don't see any. Okay, so we're gonna, and this is an example. Okay, if you are real confused on it or so, and you're just like, I just cannot tell. Does it have one or does it not? And they don't have it listed on there. You can try to look for a different comparable. Okay, but so that goes to show you while you're looking for your comps, do try to see if you can get all that good information. Just on this one, it's so hard, in this area, hardly anything was selling. Okay, so since it doesn't have any, we'll just put that it doesn't have any. Okay, so the comparable is poorer, so you're gonna add on it. Okay, so mine has two car garages. Okay, where was it here? Okay, so it's gonna be up to 8,000. Okay, so on this, we'll add 8. Okay, and the same thing with this one here. Okay, so let's see here. Let's see what this one has. They have no also, and then yes. So you always want to verify. Now this is not going to have any. Okay, so you see this is just a parking car pad. Okay, so that's what it is. So none, but yes for car pad parking. So and then it'll be 8. Okay, so just like that. Okay, all right. Fireplaces. Okay, the fireplaces. So you kind of look. My subject doesn't have one. Okay, so now on the fireplaces, you gotta kind of look at them and see. Take that one off. You gotta kind of look at them and see what kind of fireplace it has. Okay, so here we go again with these pictures here. Okay, so there it is. Okay, so just a standard little fireplace. They have something in front of it, so nothing special at all, right? Just standard fireplace. So we'll give them the very minimum. Okay, you can even give them a little less, because if it doesn't have too much. So the comparable is better. So what does the sheet say? Comparable better. Subtract. Okay, okay, so it's 1. Okay, now this one, same thing. Okay, we'll have a look at it. It's all in the same neighborhood, so they're probably going to be the same. Well, this one has been remodeled, though, so let's see. Okay, so that one's pretty nice. Okay, pretty good looking there. Okay, so has that nice brick and all that kind of stuff. So you can probably even give them a little bit more than that, but let's see. Okay, so the comparable is better, but we'll put, let's see. Okay, so like as I was saying, you kind of have to use your best judgment. Okay, between 1,000, 2,000. Okay, so maybe we can go 1,200. Okay, just like that. Okay, so let's just do that. Or you know what? We'll just keep it at 1,000 because it really, I don't see. Let's see. I mean, and see, it's just a firebox, okay? It doesn't have the gas line in it or a blower fan or nothing. So in reality, it just has that decorative stuff over it. So you know what? We'll just keep it at the minimum, at the 1,000, okay? So, and if you can't really estimate it or so, or you have a little bit of hard time, I'm not sure, 1,500, maybe 1,000. It's no big deal. Just put a number in there. It's not going to be 1,000 here or 1,000 there. That's not going to kill it. Okay, so that one's going to be 0, of course. So you don't have to get too hung up on that. It's when you get into the 5,000-10,000 difference, especially on the lower end houses. Okay, that can really make a big difference. Okay, so now we got the fireplaces. So lot size. Okay, so we'll go in here and see that it's almost the same. Okay, but we're not really gonna do too much adjustment on that. Okay, because the functionality of it, and it's all pretty much the same. It's all the same neighborhoods and everything. Okay, so now the pools. Okay, none of them have pools. Okay, so we're not really gonna do no adjustments. But let's just say that one did. Okay, so let's say this one did have a pool, and it's just gonna say yes. Okay, so you're gonna have to go in there and look. Okay, like I say, you just click on the link. Okay, you go in there, close some of these off. You go in there and just look through the pictures. Okay, and then they'll have a picture of the pool or something like that. You can properly adjust. Okay, to see how much are you gonna do. Okay, if it's a very nice swimming pool and it has all this nice stuff around it and everything, then you'll adjust on your high end. Okay. See here on the pool here. See, from 75 to 2,000 or 20,000, just depending on how fancy it is. Okay? All right. Other structures, the guest houses. Okay, none of them say that they have guest houses. Okay, if they don't have anything in there, of course, you probably have to look. You look and then you see. You can see some of the pictures, or not just the pictures, but pay very close attention to the remarks, okay, and see if they have anything about guest homes in there. If they do, like I say, you'll have to talk to us, or once you get very comfortable in it, because they can vary a lot. Okay, it depends if it's attached to the structure or it's detached, or kind of condition it is, or whatever. Okay, refrigeration. Okay, so my subject does not have refrigeration in it. Okay, this one, they didn't put it. Okay, so the agent didn't put it in there. So now let's go and look. So you look and then you kind of pay attention to here and see. Sometimes they'll say, it has refrigeration in there. So this one does not look like it says. Doesn't say anything at all about it. Okay, so okay, here it is. Okay, evaporative cooling. Okay, so this one does have evaporative cooling, so it's going to be the same. Okay, so where were we? Okay, so it's going to be the same as mine, so there's no difference on that one. Now these do have, okay, they do have refrigeration. Okay, so again, we have to go in there and see. Most likely, since it's this size, it's only going to have one unit. Okay, but so you'll see on here, refrigerated air, that's all it has, but it doesn't say how many units. Okay, so that's why when you put on your MLS, if you have a good size house or you have 2 units, do describe it in there. Okay, so, and it's also for your benefit, so people say, oh, okay, it's got 2 units. Or most people like split units like that, separate units, because they can control the different zones in there. Okay, so I like to go into the pictures and kind of look and see. Oh, there it is. Okay, so then just to see, okay, it's a good looking unit. That's a good size unit. Okay, it looks pretty nice. Make sure it's not just really old and beat up and something from the 1990s or something that's pretty worn out, or the 80s or something. Because on these older houses you can have refrigeration from a long time ago. So that one does look pretty good. Okay, so on this one the comparable is better, so we're going to subtract, right? Okay, so see comparable better, subtract. Okay, now for the refrigeration system. Okay, what we have? Okay, so 6,000 per unit, and that is a pretty good unit. Okay, so you're gonna go 6. Okay, same with this one here, Olsen. You gotta have a look and see what it looks like. Close these windows out. Okay, and photos. Well, let's see. It's not gonna say, but for that kind of size, I'm pretty sure that it's not gonna have more than one. Okay, you can put 2 tiny little ones, but so we'll do this. Man, they got a lot of pictures in this one. They're all cell phones. See how crooked they are. Come on. But they're just running and gunning it through there. These pictures are okay if you're doing it on your comparable part, on your subject property, so you can see what you're working with and refresh your memory. Okay, let's see on the outside ones. Let's see what we got. I don't see that. Let's see, pretty nice there. I don't see a unit. What is that? What the fish pond? Okay. All right, so it's gonna be up on the roof. It has to be, and I don't see an evaporative cooler up there, so I'm pretty sure it's got to be up there. Okay, so anyways, we'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Okay, so comparable is better, so you're gonna subtract it. Okay, all right. So now the workshops, this one did say that it did have a workshop. Okay, but I'm pretty sure that it's not gonna be nothing real special on it. And usually appraisers are not really giving too much on just a little bit of a room for a workshop. It's got to be something real incredible. Okay, so now going down to the solar. Okay, none of them have solar. I didn't see anything at all in the MLS remarks. If you don't see ends or nothing here, you just look, and then look at your details here, and then you'll see if it has solar. Usually they'll always put it in the solar, or they'll have the documents up here with the solar documents in it. Okay, so just for an example, let's say if they did have solar, okay, and you'll go in there and you got to see if it shows you the kilowatt stuff and all that, and then you'll adjust it by here, okay, with the solar system. Okay, so remember 5-6 kilowatts, that's a pretty large system. So you're going to go on the larger end. Okay, if it's maybe 2-3 kilowatts, smaller house, you'll go and you'll have to estimate it. Okay, how many panels and everything. But that's something that you can talk to us about. Okay, don't get so freaked out on that in the beginning. Okay. Okay, so now we pretty much already got everything in there. Okay, so now remember I was telling you before that the square footage, this part here. So see. This is a big difference on this one. Okay, so you want to see now on the main square footage. Okay, this one here. Okay, the 1623. Okay, for the Waco one. Okay, see the Waco one is smaller than the Manchester one, but yet it's sold for a lot higher. Okay, so now the square footage. The higher you get on the bigger the house is, the lower the price is going to be. Okay, so the smaller it is, 1,000 square feet or so, the higher the sold price per square foot is going to be. Okay, so if something sells for $200 a foot, for example, it's only 2,000 square feet. And it's not going to be the same 200 for 10,000 square feet, okay? Because then you're going to get really high, way up there, okay? So it's just the rooms are just a lot bigger, okay? It's a lot more open space, typically, okay? So that's how you do it on this. Now, you do want to see, okay, if you see a big difference, so let's say the Olsen, what is the Olsen and the Waco? Okay, well, let's say these two here, okay? So see, this is very close together. Okay, 78, less than 10 square feet. Okay, so you want to see, but yet there's a big difference. Not too big, but a little bit. So you want to, click on them again, and then I already have them up here. So you want to see the difference in the quality. Okay, so see the Manchester looks a little bit better, but the Manchester, there's something went on in there and why it's sold like that. Okay, so but see, it even sold higher. Okay, so this one, the Manchester one, it looked pretty nice and everything. So okay, so maybe it was just because the exterior, maybe the exterior curb appeal or something didn't. See, they didn't do too much to the outside. They really remodeled the inside really nice. Okay, so you have to use your best judgment, because I'm going to show you right now how to It looks really nice. You have to, I'll show you how to adjust for quality. Okay. So see that it's really nice, man. It's like a new house, but maybe that's for the outside or something. Okay. So anyways, besides the fact, these are the facts. Okay. So we'll go with that. Okay. We'll work with that. Okay. So if you see, for example, if you're saying, well, it's, for the adjustments for the price per square feet. Okay. If you think, as you go and you click on these, I mean, for your house, your subject property, you should already know what it looks like because you've been in it, right? Okay, so you see it, say, well, mine looks a lot better on the outside than this one, but the curb appeal is a lot nicer. I like mine a lot better. And you gotta look on the inside. Okay, so well, this is nice. Those are nice floors there. Okay, nice. That looks nice. Nice wood floors. Nice shutters there. Even though we don't really add for shutters and stuff. And then you look at the kitchen too. Remember, kitchens, bathrooms. That's a big plus there. Okay, so pretty nice kitchen. Good looking countertops there. Let's see. So you say, well, I think it's this one's probably mine's probably a little bit nicer. The functionality, everything is probably a little bit nicer, but not by much. Okay, not, let's say it's not like, oh man, this is incredibly nicer or anything like that. Just a little bit. It's nice. It's a nice bathroom. Okay, so let's just say you feel like it's maybe you go back to your sheet here and the quality. Okay, so where are we at on here? Okay, so the quality per the square foot, see 5 to 10. Okay, so you don't really go too much over that. Okay, so because they should all be pretty comparable. If you think it's $50 or more, you need to find a different comp. Okay, because that's not gonna match. Okay, so let's just say it was $5. Okay, so you can apply it to this. You can apply it here, but I like to add a new adjustment. So you can put quality. You can label it how you want. Quality, and then you put it here. Okay, so and since let's say it's not as nice, so you're gonna go here, and this is the only time that you actually use these numbers here, and then times it by something. Okay, so let's say, which one were we looking at? The Manchester? No, we're looking at this one, right? The Olsen one. Okay, so you take 1978. Okay, where's my calculator? So it would be 1978 times 5. Okay, so $9,000 difference there. Okay, so it was, the comparable was, I feel like it was not as good as mine. So comparable poor, CPA, you add. Okay, so in the total 9890, right? So it's gonna be plus 9890. Okay, well, actually it already has a little plus sign over here on this side. Okay, all right, so that's how you do that. Okay, and then you can go through it with all the others too, if you want to do that. If it's pretty similar, you think you did a real good grouping, pretty similar, you don't really have to do much adjustment, but this will give you a little bit more finer action on that. Okay, so now that we have all that stuff done, whoop, what happened? Okay, so now that we have all that stuff done, now we're going to go here to the summary. Okay, and this is the summary adjustment page. This should be, we would like for this to be a pretty tight little group. Okay, it's not too big of a difference. Okay, these two came out pretty good. This one is a little bit lower. So sometimes if you see something like that, you might have to go back and say, okay, well, why did I get this one a little too low? The sold price is a little lower sometimes, or this one could be a little bit too high. Okay, sometimes it just sold better. Okay, it might have just sold a lot better. Okay, so sometimes you can go back and look and then see the qualities of it. Okay, so if you do want to do that and you think, well, you know what, maybe this house was just not as good as mine, or so, and you can look at it again. Okay, and then see if you really feel like the house is not really as good as yours. Okay, or if it is better or so, and then you can make a better adjustment. Okay, so like this one, you might think, well, you know what, I really think mine is quite a bit better. You know, the more I look at it and see, like even right now, the more I'm looking at this, I say, well, mine probably is a little bit better. So you might adjust again. Okay. So in reality, I mean, it's just really your best option on it. Okay. The best guess for you. Okay. So this is slowing down quite a bit. Making these videos takes a lot of the memory. Okay. All right, there we go. Okay. So now that we did the summary, okay, then you go to your next step, okay, and then here now it's gonna populate this, okay. So this part here, you can adjust this to wherever you want. This is just gonna be the medium part, okay. But if you feel like you want to mark it a little bit higher or so, okay, you can readjust this and type in whatever you want there. Okay, so, and then now we go to the finished page. Okay, so here this is all up to you. Okay, you can check everything that you want. Okay, if you want to put everything in there, I mean, you can. It's up to you how detailed you want it. Okay, so if you want to check everything, put everything. Okay, so I'll put these and then you could just add it all as the way you want. Okay. Hey, so, and it all depends on your seller too. Okay, you should have already met them, talked to them and everything. Some people like a lot of cool stuff, a lot of information on there, charts that they don't really even understand. It just looks cool. Makes you look like you went above and beyond your Call of Duty. Okay, and some people just, just tell me, I don't want all that fluff stuff. Okay, I mean, even on my side with the inspection report, some people don't even want, they just want a summary page or something, but that's a little different. Okay, so, and then remember also, when you get done with your finish here, don't forget to come back here. And then this is how I do it. Okay. I don't really type this all the time. Okay. So, and then you just put it in there. Okay. And then, of course, change your seller's name. Okay. You kind of proofread it and add it all in there. All right. Okay. So, and then one other thing. Okay. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier or not, but whenever you give them to the sellers, a lot of them, see something like this. See these numbers, I'll probably change it. Okay, so maybe you can go a little bit higher. Maybe 215.5 or something. Okay, I wouldn't leave just a number like that. Okay, so whenever they see this, they're always gonna want to go with the high, right? Everybody's always gonna say that. And if you feel like that's a little too high in comparison to the others that you were doing, you can tell them, what, you might be pushing it a little bit. I mean, it is recommended. And then people are always going to say, well, we can list it at that price and then always come down. I said, well, yeah, we can, but that has a very negative impact on it. Okay. Because remember, MLS does record everything in there. As I said in other videos that you should have watched. The MLS does record, price drops, more time on the market, things like that. And that has a very adverse effect. Okay. That freaks people out. Well, why didn't it sell at that price? And agents know. Okay. And buyers are, they're smart. Okay. They're not real stupid. Okay. So when they see a lot higher price than what others have sold, it's very easy to see previous sold online and through the Zillow and Realtor.com and all that. So some of them will think, you're just trying to price gouge it. And I've worked with a lot of those myself, and they do have a hard time. Okay, it does kind of damage it a little bit, and it creates more time on the market. Okay, we kind of say a little joke that your listing stinks. It's starting to stink up MLS because it's just hanging in there and it's starting to get ripe. So okay, so just explain it to them. But if they really do want to go high price, and you want to take on a higher price listing, an overpriced listing, well, at least you have your ammunition here. Okay, you have your backup with this with the CMA here. Okay, so you can tell them, well, remember, whenever they say, well, we haven't gotten any activity, there's no offers, it's already been 2 weeks, what's going on? I say, well, remember I told you, it was a little bit high price. I mean, we should have stuck within the recommended or something like that. Okay, at least you have this on record that you did advise them. Okay, and then it can't really come back to you. Okay, all right. Okay, so Also, another thing you need to look at is if they say, you know what, I don't think my house is worth it. I think it's worth 250 or so because, all the work and effort I did into it, whatever. Then it's really up to you if you want to take an overpriced listing like that. Okay, because it's going to be tough and they're going to be on you. And why haven't we had any offers and everything? And then you're going to have to tell them, well, remember I told you that's overpriced. People are not going to do that. And even if somehow you're really good or you get a buyer's agent that's really good and and you do get a contract for the full price, for overprice. Well, unless it's cash, if it's finance or something, appraisers they're not gonna let that slide. Okay, it's gonna come back down. They're gonna see the same type of comps that we have here. Okay, and even if they use a little some different ones, it's still not gonna. They're not gonna pick a way higher priced house that has all kinds of different stuff in it that's a lot more superior to yours and bring your price up. Okay, so they're not going to do that stuff. So that's something that you'll have to explain to them. And in reality, I mean that's your decision. If you want to take an overpriced listing or not. I mean, you can talk to us too and see if that's something that is feasible because they can be a hassle. Okay, so and that's really about it. Okay, so if you want to see all this stuff in there and real cool looking things here. Okay, so and then you can download it, so you can email it or whatever, and then that's it. And you have all your pretty data here to present to them and everything, and then the recommended sales price and all that kind of good stuff. Okay, so that's really about it. That's really about it for this one. Okay, so put this here, and so you can see how it looks. See, and then it has these pretty charts here and everything, and they can see it. And if you change this, it'll show a little bit different. Okay, but here's all the stuff. Alrighty, guys. So that's it, and don't forget to change the stuff up here. Okay, so. If y'all have any questions or anything, of course, when you first start doing these, they can seem pretty overwhelming, okay? But, you can always come to us and then we'll help you with it. All right? Alrighty, y'all. And that's it for this one. Until next time.